Mindfulness is a meditation practice. What we're going to do during this time is to have 2 short meditation practices and some time to reflect. Now, I am aware that some of you were in sort of different contexts would have tried this short meditation practice before, but you know that each time when you sit to have a meal, it's, although familiar, it's always a new experience. So if you have tried this meditation practice before, I want to invite you to approach it as if you were doing it for the first time, and just to open your mind to the experience as you experience it just right now. Mindfulness is a practice that is helping us to come to the present moment and to just consider our experience in various ways in the moment as it is just right now. So you all have a few pieces of dried fruit. So if we can just, before we start, just hold it in your hand and first become aware of your posture. Just check your body. See if you can sit with your back straight. And just be aware of your feet on the ground and have that sense of all of your body just being here in this place right now. And being aware just the body taking shape in this room. Being aware of the feeling of contact as you sit on a chair, the contact that your feet make with the ground. And perhaps see if you can now shift your attention to your breath and realizing that the breath breathes itself. And just for a short moment follow the natural sense of your breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out, the flow of your breath, following each in-breath and each out-breath, knowing that you don't have to make it happen, that the breath comes, flows through your body and leaves. Now, perhaps just for a moment, try to think how the sensations of your body, and especially if you have any sense of hunger, or sense of fullness, or sense of emptiness. And if you were to consider and rate your hunger on the scale between 0 and 10, how hungry you are. And with this awareness of your body, I invite you to perhaps take just one piece of the dried fruit and leave the other one rest on your lap or on your service sheet. And just leaving that piece of fruit in the palm of your hand and look at it. Look at the shape, the color. How does it feel in your hand? And perhaps move it around with your finger from side to side, turn it around, and again examine what it is, and be aware of any thoughts that come into your mind as you're doing it. Any feelings perhaps as well that may raise up in your body. You may want to hold the piece of fruit between your fingers and look at it closely. Or look at it against the light and see if you can see through it. As the color changes, as you turn it around. Just taking time, examining it and noticing the texture as you hold it between your fingers. What is the sense of touch you have as you're holding it? And then perhaps as you think of the touch, bring the fruit towards your lips. Don't put it into your mouth yet, but just sense the touch against your lip, or against your cheek. What is the texture? And perhaps bring it close to your nose and see if you can smell anything. If you can't, just notice that there is no smell. And maybe squeeze it a little bit and see if the smell gets any stronger. And as you do that, become aware again of the sensations in your body. What does the sense of smell, what messages and signals it sends to your body? What is arising in your body as you smell the piece of fruit? And then bring it to your ear and squeeze it. Can you hear anything? And now when you feel ready, I want you to put it into your mouth, but not chewing, just leaving it lying on your tongue, and maybe moving it slowly around your tongue, if you can feel anything. And can you be aware of any sensations in your body, maybe any urges? When you're ready, you can start chewing it slowly and not swallowing it yet. But just experience as the taste is filling your mouth, the juices that come from the fruit. And perhaps experience again any urges that you have to swallow the piece of fruit. And then swallow it when you are ready. And perhaps imagine the piece of fruit traveling through your body as you swallow it. Noticing any sensations of aftertaste, any sensations in your mouth as you notice the emptiness as the piece of fruit's gone. Any feelings that may raise in your body. And just noticing, what would you like to do next? What do you want to do with the rest of the fruits that you have in your hand? If you want to take another piece, do it now. And keep the last piece to the end. And seeing, how did you approach the second piece of fruit? Have you looked at it? Have you smelled it, taste? Have you heard any sound? Have you put it into your mouth? Were any of the sensations the same, or were they different? I'll just give you a moment now to finish the second piece of fruit and eating it. For those who are ready, just very shortly, what was your experience of eating the dry fruit? What was the experience of choosing which one you're going to put on your hand? What was the experience of eating it slowly and mindfully.
Aware of all my senses individually, as opposed to normally they would just all kind of run into one another. So the sight, the smell, didn't get any sound particularly. And it reminded me of one of the most important senses to me is my sense of smell. Because when I smelled it, I had this feeling that just shot right through my body, and it just reminded me how important even a tiny smell.
So you've experienced it gradually as you were exploring it, but you had also a sense of kind of a connection with other times.
Yeah, but they run into one another.
Yeah.
I'm not as aware of them individually.
Yeah. Margaret?
The experience I had was of my whole thoughts being slowed down and moving out of the cognitive into the physical or contemplative, but shutting down thoughts particularly, but quietly slowing down.
Thank you.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
So you were able to just turn away from thoughts and just experiencing it.
Because you're focusing on you and what you're supposed to do.
About eating the second piece of fruit, was the experience different or?
Different taste.
It was a richer taste somehow. Because you were much more aware of what you were doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that kind of practice enables us to open the senses
And to appreciate.
and to appreciate.
And the glory of that. Because normally you just sort of eat the next thing, you know.
And it's a tiny piece of fruit, isn't it?
Normally you take a handful.
Yeah.
You've tasted it.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised, first of all, when I held it to my ear, of the sound it made. Yes, I really was. I thought, gosh, and I was, the second, I think it was raised on the second floor, and I heard the smell.
Oh, yeah.
Really took me. I thought you could almost smell the sunshine. Yeah. Made me realise how special food is.
How special food is, yeah. So in that slow process, there is kind of much more appreciation that goes beyond just what we experience with our senses, isn't it? Yeah. And that's the point of the mindfulness practice, is to help us. In similar way, I think what John was talking about fasting last time, John read your talk on the web, but because I couldn't be here, but that's the ability to actually really listen to our bodies and be aware what's going on in that moment, and the kind of sharpening of our senses as we do so. But it takes us also beyond just the sensual experience of eating. We've mentioned some thoughts that come in, and you said you can almost feel and taste the sunshine. It also links us with the thoughts and memories and feelings that we have, when we eat food. And mindfulness practice helps us to be aware of what sort of feelings and emotions actually come up when we approach food, when we relate to food. But we can actually also look slightly deeply into the food. And what I want to do now is for another short practice with your last piece of fruit. I ask you to take 3 for the reason that it's easy to eat the first one mindfully. It's very easy to just reach out for the second one and put it straight into our mouth. And often that's how we are in food. We can focus for a little bit and then we just lose our concentration. Just so for the experience of leading from one to the other, and what happens between the bite that you take of your food. But the third one, that exercise is about looking deeply into our food. It's going to be a short one, but if you can again hold your raisin or cranberry, whichever you have, in your hand, and again notice the shape and the texture. But now start thinking about the journey of that piece of fruit, where it came from as you look into it. And just try to look backwards. So just imagine and consider what happened before, just the moment before you were holding it in your hand. Somebody took the ball around and passed it to you. Just go back what happened before, when the fruit was put into the ball. And what happened before? It was in the kitchen, on a shelf. And somebody bought a piece of fruit. It's being bought in a shop. Think of the person, the checkout. Think of the person who put it on the shelf in the shop, who perhaps had to unpack, or sort of big box full of different packets of raisins and cranberries. Somebody who had to deliver those into the shop. And what happened before? Think about the place where those are being packed. So maybe about a factory where they are cleaned, processed, dried. And what happened before then? Think about the journey the fruit makes from the place where it grows to the place, to the factory where it's processed and prepared. Think about what happened before then. How the fruit grows and is tended by somebody who looks after the vineyard. Think about all that needs to happen for the fruit to grow, the vine to grow. Consider the sunshine, the rain, the soil. Think about all the animals and plants, worms, microscopic organisms that had a role in the life of this piece of fruit. How far back in time does the life of this fruit go? Where did the carbon, the hydrogen, the iron originate? How old is this piece of fruit? And consider the life energy of all the beings who contributed to the life of this fruit. Now you can take it into your mouth again. And just think about all the life energy that went into it. And maybe how can we repay them to all those involved in bringing this fruit to us? As we eat it, consider about those who prepare the food, who make it happen to grow, who bring it to us. And just close with a short prayer of loving kindness meditation. As we talked about the impact food has on our bodies and how we receive it, let's try to think of ourselves at first, of our bodies and how we care for them. As we meditate on these words, may I be at ease. May I, when I eat, be well satisfied. May I be happy. And then think and consider all those people involved in bringing the fruit to us. As I repeat the words, may they be at ease. May they have food to eat and be well satisfied. May they be happy. And perhaps holding in our minds those who struggle to get the food that they need. And hold them in your mind, in your heart, as we say those words. May they be at ease. May they have food and be well satisfied. May they be happy. And even hold in our minds those who are involved in food industry, who make the decisions and upon whom it often depends how much food there is for those who struggle. May they be at ease. May they eat and be well satisfied. May they be happy. And finally, praying for all the creation, for all the life energy of the beings that contributed to bringing food to us, for the universe. May all be at ease. May all be well satisfied. May all be happy.